Lanterns Yo, gang. Hey, hey. Boom. We are here. Sorry, I'm coughing a lot today. Took me a little bit to get going. We're gonna be streaming for about an hour 45. I gotta go pick up my oldest from school today. So, gotta be there whenever the car lines open up. Yo, Brent, what's up, brother? We're rocking some old school soundtracks today, by the way. On my playlist that has like Tenchu and Einhander. Some nice PS1 stuff. And that's what we're going to be experimenting around with. We're going to be listening to that while we experiment with some digital oil brushes in Photoshop again. And then I might actually pop open Rebel, because I have an idea. I think I know how I can get a decent approximation in Rebel for the kind of look that I'm going for. So we're going to probably be jumping between both of them. Just doing live testing today more so than like genuine painting. But we still have a few of the references open from yesterday that we can kind of look at and sort of play with. So that's what we're going to do. Let's do... Let me clear this list. I had a bunch of NDA stuff on my Rebel list. As you work in Rebel, it keeps a list of all the stuff you're working on. Gotta clear that so I don't show anything. Let's do 2000 by 2000. Alright, I'll kick on over here. Boom. Here we go. Don't want time-lapse yet, so I don't want time-lapse. Here we go. I'm going to move this stuff over. Move this over. There we go. Right. So I forgot. Well, I didn't forget, but I didn't recall until late last night. In Rebel, there's a dirty brush. It's called multicolored brush and then dirty brush. So you can actually get some of these more like messy kind of stroke type things, mixing the colors in. You know, you can get some of those pretty well here. Especially if we do like do the bristle wide. Let's do a new layer on pigment mode. Because we should be able to get some good likeness on these brushes. Like I said yesterday, Photoshop just has a very specific thing that it does pretty well. I don't know if we can get that look, and maybe if I bring down the loading a little, up the oiliness. And then let's just come over here. Something like this. Bring this up. We're gonna... Oh, will Bristle Brushes not do it? Oh, okay, so Bristle Brush Engine, I wonder if it has it like built in. Because you'll see, you know, I'm selecting my bristle brushes, and these two, the dirty brush and the multicolor brush, are out. Like they are out of there. But the moment I come down, like round soft, then you can activate it. Interesting. And for flats. So I wonder if flats, we can do multicolored brush. Let's do... like this, and then let's also do dirty brush, and I can choose that. Oh yeah, and that actually does a pretty decent that very much feels like mixing oil paints together on one layer whenever you have the dirty brush, because what it does is it gives you a really nice first brush stroke that's very saturated. Rick, what's up, brother? But then as you paint more into it, you see that? How it like... Pardon me, I've been coughing all day. But you see these nice variants right there? You get something like that. And then how's it working with the palette knife? And I have both the multicolor and the dirty brush on right now, because I think... maybe come over here. Yeah, see how it's like still taking some of that old brush. Okay. So yeah, that works. That works pretty well. That is pretty nice. We have this. That. And if you come in with just the blender brush, those up, that. Okay. So the knife dries are actually kind of my favorite, because they leave that nice scrape, you know, that, and how those are pulling. But if we load it up, yeah, that's nice. Okay. It's a very specific thing. But yeah, you can see the mix in there. That's pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. I know Rebel is kind of the top tier on it anyway, but to be able to kind of mimic the mixer brush stuff and getting those colors and how it's reacting live to what's on the canvas. Yeah, it looks wonderful. Like, and the nice thing is, because of the dirty brush mode, it works a little closer to the traditional stuff. Like, you'll get the really vibrant first, you know, hit on a canvas, but then as you keep working it, it's gonna melt it slower and slower away and kind of mix into everything that's on your brush and canvas. That's a neat way to work, because it's almost like every time you pick a color, you get a nice vibrant hit. See, but you see the little color jitter in there. Well, it still introduces some of it. So you do the first, and then whenever you come in the second time, it really, you see that, how like automatically it's mixing those two colors in, and then it's just pulling from everything. Yeah, see, that's great. That's kind of that's kind of what we were after. And if we were to do this kind of like master study thing, yeah, it's funny to probably block in the paint. You would turn these off. That way you can have a little bit more control over just getting your opaques down, you know? I mean, yeah, something like that. Get a darker brown. work on the silhouette first, right? That way we don't, really thin, but that's fine. Put this stuff in. Philosopher, hello. Welcome. So now we're playing around on Rebel. I mean, a new Rebel would be an easier way to get the painterly look. But what I really need to play with is some maybe of the watercolor brushes if we wanted that nice Sumi-e look. Because I know there's inks in Rebel, but I don't know. I haven't used them enough to really know one way or another, you know. This. And the eye. Right there. We can clean all this up in a minute. See, since the brush engine is a little more unwieldy, you know, actually kind of nice. But it does make it harder to get exact pixel perfect stuff that you might want, you know. He might. I just know, I know Daniel's brushes are very kind of the dry oil, which I love, you know. The silhouette, yeah. See, the nice thing is, it's funny, there's I don't know, it's a thing I kind of struggle with, but also, like, I need to embrace more of it. So I can do silhouettes pretty well. Because to me, the silhouette, I don't have to worry about anatomy. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Because it's just like proportions. It's just like, okay, if a person's this amount of heads high, I'm going to make the head this big, you know, and do a few brush strokes. And I was like, okay, and then I'll bring out the body a little bit. Oh, that doesn't look quite right. I'm going to make the head smaller. I'm going to make it bigger. Like, I just keep kind of warping stuff until it looks about right. And then, you know, I can put in the little bits of form shape and then come back in later and detail it. And that's kind of how I work on client stuff. But on my personal stuff, I guess I try a lot of new things all the time. So I'm like, oh, maybe my sketch has to be better. But this gets to the good stuff faster to me. Like the like messy sort of thing, and like sculpting it out of it. It's just more fun. It's more natural. Like there's no stress about getting anything right, because it's like, well, if it doesn't look right, I'll just fix it, which should technically be the same for everything. But with this, it's way easier, because it's like, oh, well, all these are messy. Nothing here is final anyway. So like, you know, yeah, it's I don't know. To me, it's just fun. And like whenever I get so bogged down in the other crap, I don't have fun anymore. And I know for a fact my work suffers for it. Like whenever I get to that level of like, oh, I don't care about this at all right now, because it's rough. Like I had a few client pieces I've been working on lately that were hard. Not because the material was hard or like out of my wheelhouse or something, but just like I was thinking about it too much, and I was like in my own head and stuff, and it was a struggle. I turned it in, and I still don't think it's very good, but at least it's turned in, and I can edit it later, and like that way if the client gives feedback. But man, sometimes when I get kind of in the weeds like that, it's rough to get out. Because it's like, I could just scrap this entirely, but you can't do that to a client. What they see is what they're getting, and they ask for the edits on that. You know what I mean? Like, more so than maybe something else. And like, well, I'm actually going to restart all this. They don't. I mean, some clients might be fine with it, but no. If you're changing stuff on the fly and you're doing, like, a lot of times, especially bigger clients, they don't like surprises, which makes complete sense, because I mean, you have to think the project that you're working on is worth millions of dollars potentially. And in the case of like a magic card or something, it's guaranteed to make millions. Like, that's the stakes, you know. So no surprises. Yeah. So whenever you like get yourself into a problem and you're like, oh, how am I gonna get out of this mess? Sean, what's up, brother? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, we'll be going until about 2:45, so about another hour 20, I think. And see, the real secret is, if I did want to make like a short story graphic novel thing, could I make this into a painting style? Because ironically, I work faster this way than I do like making sketches. Like, this is my version of a sketch. You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's way easier right now because I'm looking at something and I'm like basing it off of it. So without that, you're kind of up to your own instincts. And that does make it harder. It does. So, but I wonder if this would be a worthwhile endeavor to figure out. This, and it might be one of those things that if we just find a few decent brushes in Photoshop that are a little more exact than what we have here, you know, like pixel perfect, but still give us this vibe, we can do a majority of our quick sketch stuff here in Rebel, and then go for the finishing touches or like that type of thing in Photoshop. There. There. Here we can kind of sculpt it. Shape. So you see kind of the top of the hair. with an actual short story, I say go for that type of stuff, like, because that sounds like an original take. You know what I mean? Like that's something I don't think I've ever seen before. And you know, ideas have to start kind of that way, right? Like, could this work? Maybe. I don't know. I'd say go for it. It's funny, since I don't have any rendering, my guy looks like Leatherface. You know. A slightly, like, surrealist look. And maybe if we come here with like a knife texture. Now let's hit up these. Kind of the dirty brushes. Yeah, see that? Like, there we go. Come in here, kind of pick some of these. How it picks up some of those. Smooth. Ourselves a little bit of texture leeway here. Oh yeah, that works well with the dirty brush because it still picks up some of it and it still does the blend. That's nice. Here, that. Oh, see, I have it. I have the Discord thing set. Watch, I'll do it. I don't know why it won't. We're gonna do this. What is happening? I literally have StreamerBot. I've tested this. I tested this before I went live. Yes. I trigger this right now. Okay, it's enabled. Do I turn on always run? So here's what I'm looking at. Like, remove that. I literally have it right here. Or yes, it's on. Can I random concurrent add to export? Literally have it. Yeah, I need to dig into that stuff. I'm gonna turn on always run. This might ping like 50 times, so I apologize. Let's see. Let me come over here. Why is this not working at all? Come on, StreamerBot. You're better than this. And oddly enough, I also have like bot Ricks, which is supposed to do this stuff too. Maybe it's because they're both working at the same time. That neither one is... Here, let me, I'm gonna shut this off. And I'm gonna reopen it. No, it's fine. Well, because I literally tested this last night and it worked great. I was even offline and it was still pinging both chats because I had them both open. Over here. Boom. There it is. That's what I'm talking about. There it is. All right. There it be. So yeah, I don't know what. I didn't know if I just had to restart StreamerBot or like what's going on. Go. And then. So this is Tenchu. This is one of my favorite games ever. The original Tenchu on PlayStation 1. It's a Japanese ninja stealth samurai game. Came out a few months before Metal Gear Solid 1. And honestly, it's funny, every time there's like a big game event where they're like, we're gonna announce these new games and be on the lookout for it, I always ask for 2 games. There's only 2 games that I ask for. I need a Tenchu like collection, like Tenchu 1, 2, and maybe Tenchu 3, which was on PS2. But Tenchu 1 and 2 were on the PlayStation 1. 3 of my favorite games ever made, like beyond a shadow of a doubt. And then the other one is a Breath of Fire collection that has Breath of Fire 1 through 5, all in one collection, almost like and it's a Capcom game. And Capcom's been crushing it with like the Mega Man Legends, or not Mega Man Legends, Mega Man Legacy collections. So all sorts of stuff. They still haven't done Mega Man Legends, but I bet that's next on the menu. It's like the only one left they haven't done. But their compilations are fantastic. And if they did a Breath of Fire one, I would buy every digital version of it, like for every system that I owned, plus every physical version they would make for it, and a collector's edition. Like, I would drop $400 to $500. Like, yep, it's one of my favorite things ever. In fact, I'm planning on one of my, because I'm going to do both sleeves for tattoos. This tattoo right here is probably going to be a Breath of Fire 3 one. Like a big in color, like, it's going to be sick. But yeah, I always say Tenchu collection, Breath of Fire collection, where are they? We're not going to get a Tenchu collection ever because it's From Software. And now they're so caught up in all of the Dark Souls, Elden Ring, whatever. They'll never do Tenchu ever again. The closest we got was Sekiro. You know. That was it. But yeah, so I have this soundtrack going. I also have like the Square Enix vertical shooter called Einhander, which, you know, some of these are deep cuts, but not really. Like, I don't know. I feel like PlayStation 1 is making a comeback, as well it should. I still think, pound for pound, it's the most formidable video game system ever made. I think you have absolute bangers that are... Let's see. Hey, what? Why did I hit Control F with no hand on a keyboard? Anyway. Then if I come in here and sculpt this out. Oh, I need a better brush though. But yeah, it's so funny to me, the bristle brushes don't let you do the dirty brush mode. I wonder if it's because it's built in. You know? I'm gonna do a... Let's do... round soft. Kind of see what we got here. That big. Okay. ain't the right one. Scratchy for my taste. Turn off. Also, here's a nice little fun tip. If you ever want to get like a decent old school oil painting look, whenever you paint eyes, don't do this. Don't do like a light color and then get the dark color inside of it. That never looks right. What I do, I keep the dark color and do the entire eye shape in the dark color, right? Then I will grab a little bit of the skin color, like a mid-tone on the skin color, and bring that in to lighten the eye. Because for whatever reason, that just looks more natural to me. Like, then if you get like the highlights and stuff like that, you can do those. And of course, then you can go a little bit darker here. And then that's where you can bring in that, right? It just looks a little cleaner to me. It's less abrasive to the eye because you're using relativity. You're using, if the eye socket is dark, then the midtone from the skin will be lighter than those darks. And it's a color you already have on your palette, so you're not introducing like a stark white or a bright yellow or something. And then you use the darkest dark, whether it's on a cast shadow or for here it'd be like the hair. And that can be how you can sculpt the eyebrows in. You know. It's just a decent trick. I learned it way back when. And really, in a funny way, it saves you a little bit of money because you're using oil paint that's still on the palette. You don't have to go and like mix a new color and wash off your brush and like, you don't need to do all that. One of those nice traditional painting techniques that actually does work pretty well regardless, you know. Let's do flat oily, that's fine. Smooth out. It's still a mess, but that just means we're gonna come in here. Some of the dark. The dark. That dark here. Weird to have the purple in there, but it is. Let's turn off Dirty Brush. Now we kind of need it a little bit more exacting, you know? You can always come back in and do some fun stuff here in a minute, but... Another thing, make the eyes smaller. When in doubt, make your eyes smaller. Be a pretty good way to do it. Nose. And let's get, might have the too light, but we'll work with it. We shall work with it. Part of the head. Yes, I have played Spider-Man on PS1. I love that game, you know? So, a majority of times, especially if you go back to like PlayStation 1, maybe PlayStation 2 era and stuff, video game soundtracks are usually pretty streamable. As far as like you can put it on your videos, you can do all that type of stuff. Because back then, the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, it was a little bit different for video game soundtracks. Unless you had somebody that was making music like, there's a really famous composer named Jesper Kyd. Jesper Kyd worked on video games back in like the Sega Genesis, 32X, all the way until now. He does stuff for like Hitman, he did some Assassin's Creed stuff. Anything by Jesper Kyd is copyrighted because he puts that out. Do you know what I mean? Like he is basically making the music. The music is a Jesper Kyd song made for Assassin's Creed or whatever. So like it doesn't fall under the rest of the maybe the Ubisoft, oh, we compose these songs. But like all the Halo soundtracks you can use. You can use them for streaming. You can even Bungie and 343 Studios and all of them put out like express, yes, please use our music while you're streaming. Please use our music in YouTube videos. You don't even need to give credit, but we would appreciate it. And like, so a lot of my stuff, you'll hear it. If you're like, is that the Halo soundtrack? It is. Because the music's great. And you can use it. You know, every Blizzard game, the only part of a Blizzard game that you cannot use is if they licensed a song, of course. So like in StarCraft 2, I had a full playlist of every StarCraft 2 song. But in the jukebox area, in the main menu, it would play an Elvis song. And then the Elvis song not only got pinged, it got the whole like 4.5 hour long thing muted. The whole thing. It just muted all of it. I was like, well, gotta either edit that sound file to take out the Elvis song or use something else. So I use kind of a small collections of stuff from like Diablo or, you know, but like Guild Wars, you can use all Guild Wars. Yeah, that's kind of why I go to that stuff. And now why I'm making these like kind of retro playlists, because these are great soundtracks. Nobody really listens to them. Even if you go to the like the highest listened YouTube compilation of it, it's like 10,000 people. You know, 10,000 views, and it came out 20 years ago. So it's like, okay, we can use this pretty well. Oh man, that's awesome. Classes with live oil paint. Ooh. Oh, that's a good question, Sean. So I'd have to get a whole different setup. How would I'm trying to think of the best way I could get it. Because the thing is, I would want it to be the most educational it could be. So I'm envisioning, like, I don't think there would necessarily be a camera on me. I would probably have a wireless mic on. I do have like at my work desk back here, my wife now has her iMac on it, but I have one of those cranes that I used to use for my older microphone. I used to have the crane arm, and it would like droop down and I could move it and stuff like that, and it was cool, but it was also in the way. The kids would like to get it and like yank on it, which would mess up the whole desk. In fact, part of this desk is chipped off now. But I could maybe use it as an overhead crane arm and get a webcam and mount it to it. Yeah, I might have to break out my older desktop computer. I'd have to think that through. It's a really good idea because it's a lot of fun, and I would like to start doing more traditional painting again, like acrylics, and mess with watercolors or ink wash or all that stuff. And then we do something easy like a seminar, like paint an apple in oils. You know, here's the Zorn palette. You know, you just need 4 colors, and you can buy these anywhere. I think that'd be fun. It'd be cool to kind of get the rust off and kind of do that type of thing. Yeah, that's definitely worthwhile. And like, I'm on that cusp of like, where do I want to spend a lot of my time? Do I want to pursue more of this type of thing, like the live streaming and do this? Or do I still want to get a majority of my money and like the way I make a living on doing the professional illustration? Because both take a lot of time, and I will say the pro illustration is definitely paying more right now. So that's kind of winning just by the nature of the beast. But as the kids get older, they get a little bit more responsible. They know not to touch a bunch of daddy's stuff. Like I can, you know, because I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. The 13-year-old's great. She's awesome. She gets it. And she wants me to do more traditional painting. But like the littles, if I have a live canvas that I have to set out overnight of oil paint, that oil painting is going to be destroyed. I guarantee it. They are goblins when it comes to that type of stuff. So, which is fun, but also like, I just can't have stuff laying around. Yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely worth it. I think going and trying that and bringing in some of the more traditional stuff, and that way you can see even things like, how do you clean your brush? It can be kind of tricky, and like, when do you clean your brush? You know, is it after every brush stroke, or is it, you know, only when you're changing temperatures, or like, when do you think about it? Because it's kind of the same thing here with like a dirty brush engine. Like, when do you turn it on? When do you turn it off? You know, all that stuff. No, I mean, you're on the right. Yeah. Like, I am very much in that kind of same headspace. You know, I'm like, hey, can I make this happen? See, and now I'm getting to the point to where I'm like kind of copying the reference too close, I think. Which is a very easy trap to fall into. You know? And that can be our... sculpting here. That's Filbert dry, don't mind if I do. Little boys are my son is a madman, which is great, but also like we had to like yell at him yesterday, get off tables and all that stuff. This word, yeah, like, and of course this feels more natural because I'm just painting instead of worrying about brush settings and texture and this and that and this. It just Rebel just kind of does it, right? Like Rebel really makes that part of it simple. But like there is just still something about the, I don't know what it is. Could just be because it doesn't work that I'm stubborn and I'm like, I need to make this work. I'm a professional after all. I should make this, you know, like the old John Lovitz character on Saturday Night Live, the master thespian at any part, anywhere, anytime. Like, that's kind of how I feel about digital painting stuff. And it's like, I should make this work this way. You know. And then ironically, whenever I post up videos on Rebel, I get a lot of really passionate people that love Rebel. And then people are like, can you do this in Photoshop? No. You can't. Not as well. You know, which is not their fault, but it always happens. Every time, it always comes up. Let's do some bristle brushes. Let's play with these for a minute. Yeah, I do think there's like built-in mixers and stuff on these bristle brushes. Yeah, I can already tell. And then if you just take some of these, some of that. Now we can do the fun thing. This is another, let me actually move the ref because we don't need that right now. This is another fun technique. And Brent, this is actually something you asked about probably about a month ago, right? Is getting variations in your brushwork, or not brushwork, but in like the colors inside of certain values. So like if you had a really strong shadow, like how would you introduce different colors within the shadow without it breaking that visual look? And the easiest way for me is I will always color pick and then come over to the color wheel and just change the hue. And the nice thing is with things like Rebel, I think there's a setting. Set color sliders. That's fine. I think I need the color sliders. Like I can do that, but really just going around. I think there's a way. Color wheel, HSV, hue, saturation value, sliders. Use that. There is a, I thought there was a color wheel, color set. I thought there was a way to lock in to, it locks your lightness. And that's important because, well, yes, I think it locks your lightness, which is slightly different from value. Because value can slightly change and still be pretty close. If you're in the half step category, you're pretty good. But lightness, I think, is exact numbers. Like lightness deals with the actual amount of light emitting from a tone in a digital sense on a screen. So if you lock your lightness in, you can change, you can do these type of things. Or like if I come over here and see how dark it is, and then I can just come over here, introduce some green, and I can introduce a little bit of blue, and I can get like even that bright purple color. But you see what's happening? It's not really changing it all that much, but you're getting just a little hit of something. So even if we did, let's get, see, we got the purple right there. Let's go over to like the green right next to it. Very subtle. Like subtle enough that if you zoom out, you can't see it. But it does sing a little bit. It makes those colors kind of, or that value kind of vibrate a little bit more. And that's really the secret. Is you just kind of find, like, if I want something in this shadow right here, I got it right here. Let me bring this up here, make it a little bit warmer. It looks like a lot, but then what you do, you kind of introduce that here. Get your mixer brush, mix it in, and you're getting that nice little bit of value, variety within the hues inside of the value. So it works pretty well. See, and this is where I would be tempted, like, to come and fix the face. I would now bring this into Photoshop, I think. Because Rebel's great at getting the big brushes, I mean the big brush strokes, you know, pardon the pun, but like that's sort of what it's built for. And then if you need exact design stuff, if you're going in and you're like really wanting to nail down something, that's where something like Photoshop would come into play. Yeah, maybe the stuff that we're learning from Yoji Shinkawa and Ashley Wood is just to make sure that our silhouette shapes are good, that we have a nice silhouette that the eye can follow, you know? So it's not rendering necessarily. It's just sharpening up where the eye can look. Let's see. What we want to do on... Oh, I know what we can do real quick. Let's see if this is actually doable. Let me find... bring this over, show you guys kind of the anime style of what Joel Lagerwall, kind of the reference that we were using. Show you what I think is kind of the anime style of it. And we'll see if we can nail down a nice hybrid look. So if this is the Joel Lagerwall, kind of that digital oil scrapey look right here, Tactics Ogre has to be... You see what I mean? Like, I can see a one-to-one. And even the way the characters look, like, I feel like I could make, you know, if we actually introduce, let's try doing a study of character right here. You know what I mean? In this economy? What in the world? Yes, so I also wanted to do a live stream tomorrow, but I won't be able to. I have to go get new tires put on the car and stuff. Like, there's a lot I have to go do. I have to go pick up some stuff for the kids. I have to go grocery shop. I have to get, so sadly I won't be able to. But I do think I will be doing multiple art streams a week. Wednesday definitely for sure is locked in, except for next week, of course. Every time I schedule something, and this is how life is, every time I'm like, you know what, I will go live every Wednesday. And then they're like, actually, next Wednesday you have 4 appointments that you have to, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. So next week we're probably going to do a Tuesday art stream and a Thursday art stream. And then Fridays we might do game streams. Fridays might be our video game streams. That'd be fun. I have this right here. I'm going to extend out I will say I updated the drivers on my tablet. I'm really liking it more right now. Like, I feel like I struggled to get this type of brushwork lately. Just the big, empty sort of brushwork that still looks decent, you know? Like the nice blend and all that stuff like this. But after the update, I feel like it's actually been pretty good. So here, how I would approach this, I would start off with kind of the mid-tone, I guess you would say. Actually, kind of the lighter mid-tone. And then I would actually just come in and block in the shape. Just to give my brain something to map down. Bring this in. Those sides a little better. Straighten that. Then I would probably actually take this and I would make this an oil painting. You know what I mean? Like over here, something like that. A little too extreme on the, but that's fine. Bring that down. A little more. Just kind of fix it while I'm painting. Zoom in here. So we have that, right? Down here. This comes up over here. Block that in. Do this, we'll make this a little bit darker. Then I would do the fun thing, grab the gray. And then I would follow those same brush strokes. You see how it's kind of wrapping around his head like that? Do this. Bring this down. And what's cool is whenever we get this kind of blocked in and we kind of see what we're looking at so far, and I'm gonna come in and darken. That way we get the nice negative space stuff. We can make this either as like quote-unquote realistic or as stylized anime as we want. And it all depends on how we do the face. We have this kind of the sort of bleeding oils and stuff like that that we have here. Boom. Keep it kind of natural skin color here. Put it here. Put it on the forehead. temper that down a little bit. As you can see, we want the front part of the face to have that kind of highlight, right? Then and this gives us just a little bit of canvas to work with. Let me darken this a little bit where the shadow is. That way we get a nice eye shape right here, right? We can blend some of these out too. That's going to help. See what's cool. We'll grab this. Actually, we'll put in a little bit of armor. There. Add out a little bit. Then we'll grab that blue. We're gonna grab the blue here. I think that's gonna look really nice on that brown. Like. So that's, here's the Iron Hander soundtrack. I knew it'd pick up the pace in a minute. Even a little different, right? Get that blue in there. That needs to be closer to the... closer to the ear. And now that we have that shadow, we can bring that shadow in here. What we can actually do. I want to start making this a little more like realistic oil paint type of look. And just modify the shape of this nose a little bit. Still keep once again, make the eyes a little smaller is usually a safe bet. Then is the skin tone as the lightness of there. Darken this up. Nose is going to point down. Is that a minute? No. Yeah, the economy is the reason. If I could, I'd do 6 live streams, but... and if we, like, get rid of that... What's nice is we can actually use what we already have here. Start blocking in stuff. Grab that I want flat oily. So this is what I'm trying to do more of, is like kind of start work from reference or something, and then like get rid of the reference and then just do some stuff. Make it a little bit different. It is always very weird to try to make these more anime-based characters like quote-unquote realistic, because it just, you lose a little bit of what makes it dynamic, I think. Do kind of what we talked about, we hit that, we bring this over, something darker. Something to work from, you know. like where the nose is. We are just gonna fix it. Long. Bring in more shadow. Try something real quick. I'm gonna get this a little more red. This. Let's do watercolor. Water. Yeah, so we're kind of experimenting with the same, we have the same artist, Joe Lagerwall, where we had, this is the one we kind of did a little bit yesterday, but you can see there's the trend that he works on. I just really enjoy the way the brushes work together. So yesterday we kind of experimented with the kind of the Photoshop look, to kind of see what we could do. And then this time we're digging in more into Rebel with like the pigment brushes and stuff to just kind of see if we can somewhat successfully get that same kind of look. And the answer is yes, but it is different. It's the feel of making it is different, which is always going to alter what the finished thing looks like, you know? Yeah, so the watercolor brushes might actually be like if we had, you know, if we have these right here. I do think the watercolor brushes would be like the way to go. You're gonna try something like this, which I'm not brave enough to do, but screw it, let's try it. It would be, first I would have to get tilt, watercolor drippage, yes, about there. We will go into the canvas settings. Absorbency 5, edge, drip size, let's turn that up to a 7. And then drip length, let's turn it to a 9. Just to really go crazy. Then paint texture, let's go up. I mean, actually, I would probably turn it all down if I really wanted the nice, clean graphic design Shinkawa style. But I think getting a feel for, because yeah, the ink pen is just like dip pens and fountain pens. But then the watercolors is where we would have the Sumi-e soft, bristle, ribbon. And then we got the watercolors, gouache, bristle. I wonder what the Sumi-e bristle would be. That one right there, the left one. Yeah, because it's like, because really what he does is he does the eyes first, it looks like, kind of whenever he comes over and he does like the, oh yeah, that's pretty dope, not gonna lie, like that already. You know, this is not gonna be good by any stretch of the imagination. That's not a bad little brush, man. I see you, Rebel. I see what you're working with. How far away was that? So we got a little something here. Connect those a little bit, right? It's a little wobbly, a little wonky, but something like this. Right. Well, that's true. Could kind of alter that, This is the... Okay, so if we do... Hit canvas... Exotic, felt, gesso, handmade. I need to like go on a buying spree. Some of these. Maybe the Mitsumata. Oh, it was at the top. Let's see, there's hot press, the washi right here. Or is it the aquarel? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a nice, nice looking texture. This is these kind of lead in a little bit. So, really it looked like from the videos and kind of that type of thing, he did a lot of the shadow stuff first, and then came in afterwards and did sort of the detail stuff, right? And honestly, what's going to be kind of funny is I think the real thing for this is going to be coming in with the details with the lighter colors. So if we do something like this, then we come over here. Then we have let's try flat 2. It's a little too synthetic, I think. I mean, the Sumi-e's are good. Let me just keep rocking the Sumi-e brush. Just figure it out. Because it has the nice grit to it. And that's the thing that I think is really going to send this, like... Then I'm going to come in with a white brush on a new layer. Maybe still the Sumi-e ink brush, but or it may not even show up as white. I don't know. So yeah, he does, and also he has whiteout. He uses whiteout to come and do the finishing touches, which is really interesting. Yeah, so we do, if we maybe up the water, down the opacity a little bit. Let's do the paint and mix look. Actually, let's not do the paint mix. Let's do the opaque. Yeah, he does some of the. Okay, so actually. Yeah, it needs to be a lighter color. So it does get some of this. Oh, now it's like re-wetting. So I'm gonna let it re-wet. I'm gonna let it start doing some of this ink splotch, and then we're gonna come in on another layer and oh, so I can do the light over dark. Oh, right, yes. Over here, that's right. With transparent and opaque. Gotcha. And do this. We'll just let those kind of drip on down. Yeah, there we go. That's what I needed. I need this to come over here. Then I need to lighten this, right? Ixie, hello, hello. I'll bring the water down a little bit. This is going to be very drippy anyway. If I slow it down, don't drip too much. Yeah, because now it's pause the wheel. Actually, go no drip. That way we can come in and like gesture out this again. And we can clean it up, you know. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it'll be nice to kind of, with having the tilt off and like the water drips off, maybe I can actually come in here and sort of sketch out exactly what I need. The brush, right? See, it's still so... still very wet into wet, which makes sense. I mean, we are using very wet media, you know. Yeah, because like need to do this. See, and the thing is, my only complaint, can I use this brush as just a paintbrush instead of having it have the liquid and stuff, which is fine. But what I need to do now is kind of the reverse of what Shinkawa does, because Shinkawa does this part first. The exact brush of like, make the eye and then bring in those colors to make the, you know, lighter, and then bring in these lines and then bring in that, like, instead of it all kind of warping and melting, which is fine. And this gives us a really nice, what I think is like underpainting. But now we need to clean it up. Like now we need to actually make it look like the thing. Yeah, that's true actually. So maybe I could do that. Maybe I could come in here, make it the eraser, and then etch out what I need. Yeah, see, like that, like that's working in the negative space to give it that sense of direction. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Do this. And if I right click, copy brush preset, right? I'm gonna come in here to the oils acrylics. Here we go. Express oils would also work. Let's see what we got here. As far as yeah, that's cool. Is that nice? Yeah, that's cool. I like how that's mixing, you know, the other ones. Take away from the canvas too much. No, I actually I think that works okay. You know, like we can maybe try ink pen. We do add group. I can try the ink. Yeah, because it'll still do that. So let me come back here. And then let me actually do it full opaque. Right here. So we can get these like fine lines, like how he would do the whiteout that way. Is a little big. So yeah, making that Sumi-e brush a oil brush was actually kind of a genius idea, guys. Thank you for that, because it gives me exactly kind of what I needed, which is that sort of ink, dry ink sort of feel without it manipulating like drip and all that stuff, you know, like it makes it way easier to kind of control and paint with. Something like that. And ironically, looking pretty, like, pretty spot on. At least for, you know, a cheap amateur knockoff. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah, Ixie nailed it. Well, everybody, I mean, all you guys, Rick, and everybody, you've been crushing it. So now the fun part is, how do I do this without overworking it? You know? I will say it is nice to have these brushes be so messy. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely helps. And that's not bad, actually. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty good. Like, I know it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like, I know it is definitely not the same, because this is the one he's actually, there's a video of him making this one. And yeah, he has big brush, he kind of sponges up some of the stuff, smudges out some of the grays, and then he gets white out. So a lot of this stuff, like the eyes and some of these scrapes and stuff, it's just a little bottle of whiteout, and he comes in and etches it out. But it's on a big old canvas, and it's in front of a crowd, too. He's doing this one in front of a crowd. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here we go. Let's do this. So he is, yeah, like exactly like my version of it. And I think that's a pretty decent deal. So you can see he's starting and letting it sort of like drip, and then he finds, so he almost underpaints without really making the form or anything. But then you can see he's like, oh, I'm gonna outline the eye patch, then I'm gonna go in with the cheek. Masking tape, smart. But see, then he literally comes in with the shadow shapes and like pitch black. And then there it is, little whiteout bottle. Look at that. That's crazy, right? Yep, that's how he did the eye. He's letting it kind of wet on wet. Sick. So ridiculous. Unbelievable. Thanks buddy. Thanks, buddy, for uploading that.
You are committing a major act of treason. Remove your armament promptly, then surrender. Repeat,
Got that. I'm going to do a few other things to kind of touch this up, and then we'll be good. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, this crop is very kind of zoomed in on that. Let me bring up the... There we go. It's funny, I do like the drips. I might get rid of the one by his eye, because it looks like he's crying. Which, you know, if you played Metal Gear, it makes sense. But... I might... Maybe not that one. It's a little too... Oh, and the nice thing about the oil paint version of this, you can blend it on top of itself, even with the opaque version of it, because of how much negative space there is in the brush. You know what I mean? Like, super, super cool. Maybe a few more of these marks to kind of get in here. I think the patch is kind of right. Let me that silhouette a little stronger. So yeah, guys, and the cool thing about this effect, if you have an older version of Rebel, this will still work because I'm not really using the pigments. I'm not using anything that's not in. I think all of this stuff can even be in like Rebel 5. And this is the built-in Sumi, the Sumi-e ink brush on the watercolor deal. And then you can just like come in and just have fun with it, man. Like, yeah, this is really cool. Once again, I don't think I'm definitely learning a lot about kind of the look that I want, and this is definitely it. You know what I mean? Like, this is really cool. It's really fun to paint this way. But am I good enough to do this like from imagination and do paintings like this? Absolutely not. But maybe it's a thing we practice. Maybe we just dedicate a whole bunch of time and like practice this type of stuff, you know? Because hell, why else have a live stream if we're not gonna throw stuff at the wall and get bad at it and then get kind of good at it? This actually needs to come down. It's getting a little bit of that texture in there, you know? Big brush. That's weird. It kind of locked in the size whenever we transferred it over. So I don't think I could get much bigger than like, because I'll do this and then I'll put down the brush stroke. But it won't get that big, you know? That's nice. Kind of the nice white canvas look. brighten this part up a little bit. Here we go. All about seeing the negative shapes, and I'm not great at that. So yeah, let's check the brush creation options. Also, holy moly, Batman, we have not saved any of this. So let's look at the brush settings. So I think this would be a, I don't think it's a bristle brush. I think it's just a standard oil brush. So yeah, it's a texture brush. Default color rendering. Okay, paper texture contrast is set at 100. So that's kind of an important thing to... And then background texture. Yeah, it's on the paint engine. Stroke. Max size at the 300, so I can crank that up, actually. Opacity at 100, yeah, but it does have pressure. So non-linear opacity usually means pin pressure. Opacity jitter, none. That's really important, actually. Because that way it's going to keep those nice canvas looks. The nice kind of peek through canvas texture. Spacing is at 12. It does have smudge on. Smudge on paper bumps is on. And then the shape is standard, and then grain, I guess this just transfers directly over. Grain, no stretch. Grain smoothing is on. DPI is on. So that way the resolution of the brush changes as the resolution of your canvas changes, which is very important, or else you get weird fake pixely stuff. So that's on. Random start offset. Oh, cool. So that means as you put the brush down, it doesn't start the stroke the same way every time. It tries to, does that. So that's what we have right here. But then if we turn it to bristle, we come in and let's do pure black. That way I can come in and sort of like, oh yeah, it's like a dry sort of a sketch brush. Yeah. So it's like a very dry sketch brush. So that's cool. Like that. And let's bring this over. What are the most... Since we have that bristle brush mode turned on, I can come in here, sort of like... Maybe this. Oh, but see, it's on opaque, so I wonder if I do mix. So it feels way more like a paintbrush now. It feels like the other oil painting brushes, which is fine. But I think it loses a little bit of the personality of it being the kind of Sumi-e, you know what I mean? But this might actually be good, how I was talking about kind of the render-esque brush version of it. This might be where that comes into play a lot. So like if I did a big white, very smeary now, which is cool. I mean, it still like adds to that effect, you know? Yeah. No, I think that's a neat, that's a cool edit. Like, so we can actually use this brush for a lot, really. Yeah, if we come in with like white right here, we want some of the actual white. Contrast might be a little off though, doing it that way. So actually we're gonna come back in and, so yeah, it kind of dries it out a little bit, which is fine. But yeah, if we needed a version of this brush to sculpt, I think the bristle brush version would be really good for that, right? Yeah, so I think a successful, there we go. A successful session, you know, I think this is definitely the winner from the stream. The other ones are fine. The other ones were okay. Kind of playing around in Rebel and doing the dirty brushes and the multicolor brush is good. But this is, yeah, this is better. This is more fun. This is actually kind of the look we were going for. That dry brush sort of thing. Yeah, that's true. Just make another duplicate, keep that one bristle. Yeah, it's cool. Of course, we could tinker around all day, you know, but I do think it is very fun to kind of get in and just let it all. Yeah, this is a whole different way of working, and it's a good way to get that very expressive sketch look down quick. Because this is the type of stuff I need to work on, right? I need to make sure that, because this is the stuff I need to practice. I need to practice the proportion of like shadow shapes, and then we can get in and just have fun doing the, but really I need to do a big deep dive, not only of Shinkawa, but of like watercolor masters that do like sketching, not necessarily concept art, because I don't think there's actually very many, but fashion, those very quick gestural lines. And yeah, I think that'd be fun to, and yeah, we can see how those gritty lines kind of get in there. It's cool. So yeah, that is it. That is today's stream. Like I said, probably not going to be able to stream tomorrow, simply because I got a whole bunch of stuff to do. But I'm going to post this one up. Absolutely post this one up. It's funny, I turned off the time lapse. I should have kept it on. That way I could put out the full time lapse of this one. Ironically, right? But I'll fit the in so you can easily add different color backgrounds. Ooh, that's true. That's true, and that way you could do kind of the box stuff. If you wanted the Yoji Shinkawa look, you can do the boxes. You can do the nice gradient look, which I think that'd be fun. Kind of bring this into maybe a Photoshop or Clip Studio, Krita, put it in, put some gradient maps on it, and kind of see what happens. Because this is that's the type of piece. If I were to make like a small short story graphic novel type thing, that would be the cover. I don't know how many paintings inside of the book would be like that, but that type of thing would be the cover because it's so striking, especially with like, if you have just pure black and white and then you put in like a bright yellow, like for the text, or like red or orange or something for the text. And it really makes it like, it's very stark and very, very cool to look at. But yeah, that would be sort of the thing. And I think Rebel is definitely the way that we would add that watercolor and Sumi-e ink look. And then we could go into another program if needed and like warp it, maybe move it, smudge it, like push it up and down, kind of manipulate it to where the shapes are correct. But the more I practice this style, the more the shapes will be correct out of the gate, which is exciting. So yeah, fun stuff. A lot of fun actually. And yeah, a lot to think about too. You know what I mean? Yes, right. So the Metal Gear Solid 1 cover, and like there's some awesome like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, some of that art looked really, really good because it was a little more washy than the other stuff. But yeah, that would the pure black and white, and then the red is just like boom, super stark. And it was that foil, like the nice shiny, at least the first print when it had the multiple discs before it was the greatest hits edition. It came out. I think I have my original edition somewhere, but really what I have now, and I highly recommend it to everybody, if you have a somewhat decent gaming PC, or not even a decent gaming PC, just any kind of PC, or you have like a newer system, get the Master Collection, man. Master Collection has Metal Gear 1 and 2 from the MSX, has Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3. I actually recommend that version over any of the other versions that have come out, including the new Delta, which I have, and I've played a little bit of it. Something's off with it. I think I know what it is, but I might do a video on the gaming channel about it. Just doesn't feel right. Literally, like feeling the moving the character, moving Snake around doesn't feel right, because in the originals he could pivot on a dime. Like you could stand your character and you do the thumbsticks and it would like, you could spin him without him moving. So that the game is built around that. And then with the new one, everything has animation. It's almost like Red Dead Redemption 2, which I love that game, but like everything has an animation. So it's like, oh, you moved over? Well, he has to tilt his head and swing it this way, and his shoulders move over here, and he's, whoa. So like you hit a button to move and it takes him 3 seconds to move. And you're like, come on, man, like get on with it. And then, oh, I need the gun. I'm going to go and I'm going to reach in and I'm going to really pull out the, it's like, brother, I need to hit the button and have the gun in my hand. Like that, I need that to happen. So, you know, but yeah, this was a fun one. This was a blast. We might do some more. We might do some more studies like this, because knowing that now we have some brushes that can do it, now it's about learning it. Now it's about actually putting that through its paces. Now that we have the engine, we have the capability through the brushes to be able to do it. Now there's no excuse, right? Yeah, the camera, it's more of the third person pitch rather than the overhead, but I like Subsistence, the Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, kind of the director's cut version. I had it in the red box. Stayed up, did the midnight launch, all that stuff. But had the red box, and that gave you a good third person camera, which is what the Master Collection is built off of, which is why I recommend that one. It's kind of the best of all of it. You have the original feel, but you have the better camera, the better aiming. It's just a better game, I think. But hey, I have Metal Gear Solid 1 reinstalled. We might play that on a gaming stream. I need to get every achievement for every Metal Gear. That's one of my goals. It's a big deal, but it'll take forever. But hey, gonna be worth it. Anyways, that's my time. I gotta go get my oldest daughter from school. I will see you guys next week. I will see you guys on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we're going to be doing our art streams. Friday is probably going to be the gaming stream. I don't know what we'll play. Hell, we might play Metal Gear Solid. If we're going to jump in, let's jump in. Let's be obsessed with Metal Gear again, which is a thing I haven't done since I was like, when did it come out? 97, 98? I was 12 when Metal Gear Solid 1 came out. So yeah, ever since being like a 13-year-old, man, we'll do it to it. That's my time. Thanks so much for all the advice, by the way. Thank you, everybody. The wet media stuff, I don't do a lot in Rebel, so it's nice to have other Rebel users that have like, oh, hey, by the way, if you click this button and do this, it's great. Feel free to backseat all you want, because it just shares knowledge, and everybody in chat kind of gets to see it, and they can try it on their version as well. And you get some really cool effects. But appreciate all of you very, very much. Go hang out on the Discord, which, by the way, let me link to it now that the link works. Now that my streamer bot decided to do the thing, I can put up that Discord. I think everybody should join up. There you go. And then also other links if you want to buy brushes and stuff. You can see all that. So appreciate you. If you're watching the video on demand, wish you were here live, but I understand time zones are a thing on this planet. Yeah, we will see you very, very soon. See you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care. Appreciate you very much. Peace.